Welcome to Royal Gist. Please subscribe and push the notification button. Prince William is retaining large grudge towards Harry and Meghan. The Prince of Wales, courting together with his more youthful brother, has been strained for the beyond few years. Prince William and Prince Harry's brotherly bond turned into placed on show during the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's maximum latest go-to to the UK. The princes had been united in grief as they mourned the lack of their grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, and joined forces for the primary time in view that Megxit. However, Christopher Anderson, writer of the imminent e-book The King, The Life of Charles III, has claimed the Prince of Wales remains retaining a grudge towards his younger brother and his wife. The biographer turned into a visitor on final week's episode of the To Die For Daily podcast. He and host Kinsey Schofield mentioned the e-book, that is the primary biography of the brand new monarch, in view that he inherited the throne, and speculated about what's coming subsequent for the royal family. They referred again to the nation funeral of the overdue Queen, inspecting the occasion's main as much as the solemn day, and the dynamics among positive participants of the own circle of relatives. Harry and Meghan Markle had reunited with the UK-based royals for the primary time in numerous months, and, in line with Mr. Anderson and Ms. Schofield, members of the family among the Windsors seemed to be strained. Mr. Anderson said, "In the very beginning, Harry turned into now no longer allowed to put on his uniform. This turned into in the early days of the mourning period, however Andrew turned into, and Edward turned into." The writer went directly to provide an explanation for that. Prince Edward turned into by no means in the army, as he simplest partly finished his education at some stage in a quick stint in the Royal Marines. Meanwhile, Andrew relinquished his royal responsibilities and turned into stripped of his army titles, amid controversy surrounding his courting with Jeffrey Epstein and his next civil case towards Virginia Roberts Giuffre. Ms. Schofield interjected, and Netflix, earlier than adding, "And on the time, each week, Meghan turned into announcing something that hinted toward her disappointment over the previous few years in her state of affairs in the monarchy at the podcast. So each week, the royal family is getting hit with those massive references to Meghan, feeling silenced or ambition is dirty. So I'm certain that the family was bored to death on the time," the podcast's host stated. The Duchess of Sussex's weekly Spotify podcast, at some stage in which she speaks with diverse visitors and demanding situations archetypes which might be often used to label women. Her first episode noticed Meghan sit down together with her long-time period pal and tennis champ Serena Williams about the terrible connotations surrounding being an formidable woman. The pair mentioned their expert roles, Meghan's as a running royal and Serena's as a sports activities star, and the demanding situations they confronted because of their ambition. It got here in advance of the Duchess's explosive interview with The Cut in August at some stage, in which she hinted at being silenced through the organization and seemed to make a threat, telling journalist Alison P. Davis that she can say something. She said, "It's interesting. I've by no means needed to signal something that restricts me from talking. I can speak about my entire enjoy and make a desire now no longer to," telling the interviewer that she doesn't speak due to the fact she is nonetheless healing. Meghan went directly to say, "I suppose forgiveness is virtually important. It takes lots greater electricity to now no longer forgive, but it takes a variety of attempt to forgive. I virtually made an lively attempt, particularly understanding that I can say something." The interview was broadly criticized through royal commentators, who referred to as out the Duchess for launching needless assaults at the royal family. It turned into posted simply over every week earlier than the Queen's dying, and Meghan has reputedly taken a unique method in relation to discussing the firm, for the reason that own circle of relatives loss. Last month, she sat down for an interview with Variety Mag and spread out about how she and Harry had been mourning the lack of the monarch, who Meghan deemed a shining example of girl leadership. The Duchess additionally admitted to having time to reflect on her comments